Hello everybody, this is Big Benedict. We're playing Devil May Cry 4 on Dante Must Die difficulty. This is mission 6 of 20. It's entitled Resurrection. Here we are in the underground laboratory, and you'll notice some render lag over here because I was trying to record while I was rendering the previous mission, and obviously that doesn't work because the specs are set so high here. But anyway, okay, for the piranhas right here, what this looks like is that you pull them up from under the ground or from the side of the walls where they are, but the Devil Bringer doesn't latch onto them. What you have to do is watch out, first of all, for that red attack. When their fins turn red, that means they're going to charge you really quickly. But the level 3 charge shot works really well at getting them to surface, and then you could proceed to do the streak. The reason I was doing the streak there was just to close in the distance. But you want to continually use your Devil Bringer and Buster them, but just watch out because there's no iframes during the throw, and you'll have to DT cancel if you want to avoid taking damage. So get used to this kind of conceit here, because when we do the boss in the middle of the chapter, we'll have a boss, and then after him we'll do the final leg of the journey of the battles. On this, there's no checkpoint. There's only 2 checkpoints in this level, strangely. The first checkpoint is after the dice game. So if you invest like 45 minutes of playing, like doing all like if you don't do any of the skips and you do boss battles and everything and you die at all, they start you at the beginning of the fucking stage. So how's that for fair? So after you complete the dice game, you'll get a checkpoint, and then after you defeat the boss, then you'll get your next checkpoint. But that's it. That's all the checkpoints they give you. So I personally detest the dice game, and I have on my phone, I just have a list of like the order of the numbers that I go off of. It can start and end with any of of these numbers, but what I go off of is 1, 4, 2, 6, 3, 5. And the reason I even look at those numbers is because the circle that I need to land on, all I'm looking to land on here are the turquoise circles, because they're the only safe place on this board on this difficulty. Because on this difficulty, they layer the white circles with that purple circle. Do you see that, the smaller purple circle? And that is a smaller. It's not a large scale battle, but it's just a battle. It's not as intense as one of the red circles. Excuse me. But the reason I even look at these numbers, the 1, 4, 2, 6, 3, 5, is that like whatever number I need. Let's see what number I need right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need a 5, right? So I go. So I look for 2 numbers before the 5. So if it's 1, 4, 2, 6, 3, 5, then I look for the 6, and then it takes my brain that long for the reaction time to press the right bumper plus the B button to do the Devil Bringer. And then it's just going to depend. You'll have to test it when you're playing to see like what your own reaction time is. Maybe you only need to see the number before the number that you need. Maybe you could do it spot on, like instantaneously, but I can't. So that's why I just consult the list every time to see 2 numbers before the number I need to hit. Now, these treasure boxes here, I have to say that it is broken, because if you see the order, that the first one was the 1, it landed on the first one, but I hit the 4th one right there, and it didn't fail me. So it doesn't work. You could hit it in any order you want to, and it just... Sometimes you'll get, if you hit the correct order, you'll get the prize, which you get one time only per difficulty, which is usually a small healing item, but which can be a holy water. So now this space here, you have to do a mandatory battle, because you can't hit anything more than a 6 over here. So what I'm going to hit, I'm going to land on the white/purple circle over here, which is going to be a battle with Mephistos, and I don't think it varies because I've got this battle every single time. But what these circles represent, the turquoise ones, as you saw, where they'll give you some money. The yellow ones are space skippers, which I think I used at one point. The red circles are large, like really hard battles and or a boss battle. And then on the lower difficulties, like Son of Sparda on downward, there will be a white circle, like a free circle. But on this difficulty, since it's so difficult, and all that, they put a purple circle on there to represent that it's still going to be a battle, but not as hard. Like there's never going to be a boss battle, for instance, on that. So I don't know. I don't like this I don't like this game here, and I also don't like it on mission 18 because it's like there's like four grids you have to do, and it fortunately you get a checkpoint after every grid that you do, and then after every boss. But I still I don't like it. It takes too long, and I don't like it. So I don't know why I don't like it either. I think it's just because it's so juvenile and it doesn't seem very creative to me, but it still is creative, but just not in the way that I wanted it to be. Like the worst thing that I hate about Devil May Cry 3 is that stage at the end where you have to fight every boss that you fought before. Although there is one combination that you can do that you can only to make it so that you only fight like 4 of the bosses, but it's like a 10 boss level otherwise, and I just hate it. I hate recycled bosses, but this game does it too. It's not exempt from that. But here I'm just looking for that final 3, and then we're going to get a checkpoint. I didn't shave out any of these cutscenes. I just left this in one reel of footage here. And then we're going to go fight the boss. So if you're at low health like now, just allow yourself to be killed, and then come back with full Devil Trigger. The Devil Trigger, when you throw the sword back, if you're in Devil Trigger mode, obviously it's going to take more damage off the window, the glass, shattering it. So primarily you do want to focus on Devil Trigger canceling, and you want to just stand in the middle because otherwise you might not be prepared for the ground floor being lit up by electricity. And occasionally you'll get health drops, but it's very infrequent on this difficulty. I mean, they just don't give it out that much. So some of these, the swords will occasionally Devil Trigger as well, meaning it'll take more damage off you. And also, you notice that they'll charge at you in like a group of 3, so you gotta watch out for that. And sometimes I'll actually, when I'm in the middle circle, I'll still jump because of the electricity. It's not really because the electricity will not hit you if you're on the middle, but I still worry about getting shoved off by these things. So it's pretty much just you're using the Devil Bringer. Try to aim it as best you can. There's nothing wrong with the lock-on and the detection. It's just that no iframes here is just completely fucking unacceptable. And I readily admitted that I use like 4 items over here because, like, why not? I mean, why not finish it if you're already wasting 3 items? Because you're either faced with a situation of perishing and losing all your items, or succeeding in getting your progress not lost but having used the items. Might as well get the progress, and with the item usage is my best advice. But I don't like this boss either when we have to fight him. He's not very fun, and I don't know, so something about some bosses they just don't feel very fair. But just keep on keeping on. Pardon the colloquial expression, but it's just, I don't know. If anyone can defend that, to have no iframes, I'd really be interested to know why people would defend having no iframes on the grabs when you're using the Buster. I think it's wrong. It makes the game unnecessarily frustrating. So, okay, so now now we're reposing on our final checkpoint over here. And I also wanted to say that you can, before the next fight, just like you could take your exceed, your charged sword into a new encounter, like when you go through a door, you can also take the charge shot if you're just going not to a new part of a level, but if you're just going like through a cutscene, like this scene right here. You noticed I instantaneously had my charge because I charged up my charge shot at level 3. So I didn't do particularly well on these guys. I didn't have to use any items, but it's just like sometimes you fight well, sometimes you just can't get it to work on these guys because they guard so much. And like there's no combo that will break their shield, like, you know, the way in Ninja Gaiden 2 there's always a combo there's one combo that will 99.9% of the time delimb. Well, I shouldn't say that, maybe 99%, not 0.9, but you know, it'll delimb the enemies. The XXY, that's a guaranteed delimb. And the reason, like, I don't like these games the most, and like why I think that God of War and Ninja Gaiden are better than these games, is because there's no like traditional parry system in this game. I can't respect this game without being able to block and parry. I know it wants to do its own thing, but I still think that there should be some kind of a, you know, I know there is the royal block, but that comes with Dante, and you know, we're Nero for the majority of the campaign. And even then, it's not a fun parry system, you know, the Royal Guard. Because unless you do it absolutely perfect, you take damage. But that's just me, you know. I love this game. I like the franchise. I might even say that I love the franchise, but I don't love it enough to place it above other games. Some people think like this game is the best. That's fine, but I can't accept that. See, even that, I think a level 3 exceed should break their shield. I think that's pretty bad. But I guess the shield has a you know, a register of how many hit points it has, and then it just shatters before it reassembles. But anyway, so there's going to be 3 mandatory fights. That's the first one, and they're all on the same checkpoint. So especially if you're on the last fight, make sure you use your items if you are going to perish, because there's really nothing worse than having to go back to where you just defeated the boss. But this is a not too bad of an encounter, because you can go behind the middle column here and charge your weapon up, you know, whichever weapon you want. And I do admit that it would be good to have the alternate loadout for the controls on these guys, to be able to charge your gun while shooting, but I'm not comfortable with using that control scheme, to be honest. But I do realize the validity of that control scheme on these particular enemies, because they're susceptible to the gun and the sword. Okay, so coming down here now, there's a hidden cache of items right here. I used a healing item right there, and now one guy's going to come out. These guys, I don't think we've seen these guys too much, if at all. They have, yeah, we've seen them. They have javelins that they rev up, and they have like gas, you know, like gasoline control, just like his sword is. But it's the same kind of mentality here on these guys. You just want to keep hitting them until they counterattack it by having your sword bounce off of them, and then quickly jump up into the air to get your iframes, or jump over them and then grab them from behind. You may have noticed that in the first of these 3 encounters, we couldn't get away with that on the gold. What are they called? I don't know. They're knights, right? But here I'm charging my charge shot, and looks like they're all devil triggered. Got a max act right there. Okay. So basically when I play, I'm trying to do the exceed, I'm going with my charge shot, and I'm always trying to see how I always do the... I know it looks like I'm always doing the same thing, I realize that, but whenever they drive me back, I want to get over to them as quickly as possible, and you can't do that as quickly as without using the streak. The streak gets you over there the fastest. So speaking of swiftness, and we're going to have this in fast forward motion because it's unnecessary, and I'm also skipping this fight here, and we're going to make our way over to the jungle, and the next mission is going to be called the She Viper, so get ready for her.